This forecast is certainly not hidden for long, and we are looking at SoFi Stadium with a beautiful view of the sky that currently is blue, but earlier it was gray with the marine layer clouds, and more could be headed that way. Right now at SoFi in Inglewood, it's that famous 6-7, dew point at 59, humidity at 76%, wind west at 14, so bringing in that humidity off of the ocean, and that's why we're going to have that condensation cloud formation taking place in the coming hours. But currently we are looking at Bakersfield Almanac, where we made it up to 98 along the 99. The average is 95. We'll get there. We'll get even better than that. Just wait. 112 was the record high, and 1957 record low 43 way back in 1907. Set us up until 8:15 out there with some of the longest days of the year. 101 in Ridgecrest currently, 67 you saw in L.A. Burbank checks in with 78, 103 in Vegas, 95 in Fresno and Hanford. And the clouds are pushing off of the coast, but they will be back on land soon enough. We've got a low pressure system northwest of the Seattle area, and that is going to be driving a cool down and a wind up for a lot of our region the next 2 to 3 days. That's why we've got a red flag warning for the KRV and the Mojave with some winds and fire potential. Wildfire spreads when there's a lot of wind, even though the temperatures are going down, so be aware of that. The cool down begins low 90s, the South Valley on Friday. The weekend looks cooler with a stellar forecast. Low 80s by Sunday, and it'll be slow to warm up next week, but the heat stays away for now. What could be better than that for this time of year? You can see that trough digging on down from the north and west, and the cool down begins Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the coolest day of the next 7 to 10, but it looks like even next week will be slow to warm as that lingering energy keeps on digging along the west coast at that high pressure staying offshore, and the other high staying well to our east over the nation's heartland. And we've got a forecast that you will like. Clouds increasing, I think a little bit of high clouds on Friday, more low clouds potentially on Saturday morning across the South Valley. Highs dropping down into the low 80s by Sunday. Look at the lows in the 50s. Welcome back. It's been a while. The mountains will be beautiful. Temperatures dropping down from the 70s down to the 60s. Mind you, it was in the 80s in Tehachapi today, so this will be an improvement. And it looks like those highs will stay under 80 for most of next week. It looks like the KRV will be really, really windy, excessive 30 to 40, maybe stronger gusts. Temperatures going down into the 70s and then maybe staying under 90 next week. Here is the look at the deserts. Low 90s on Friday, but the big news, 80s come back to your forecast Saturday and Sunday, and it looks like you will stay barely in the 90s come next Monday, and maybe a couple degrees higher by the next 2 days, but even that will be a slow walk into a warmer but not too hot.